All right, so here I am, heretofore, to wit to what, like never before. This is a bad situation. Here's the problem. You know when you're between a rock and a hard place? My producers are so liberal, they're kind of almost, they go beyond communism into, dictatorship or something like that. You know how the other side, when they're so, when they're so conservative, they become, if you're ultra conservative, you become, what they call that thing like Neil Bortz was, you're a libertarian. A libertarian. So you don't think there's no rules. No rules apply. There's nothing. It's almost like nihilism. It's like nihilism light. So ultra conservatism can be like, there's still, each side eventually comes back in a full circle. They join and they're both going to dictate everything to you. They want to control you. They want to make you do what they say. So my ultra-liberal producer wants me to play up the fact that, what's his face there? I forget what they call the boy. He's something, he's Andrew Tate or somebody. They said, play up the thing that maybe he said something that you could get behind. One thing. And that way it would be really dirty and mean and nasty. It would get a lot of clicks that way. It would get a boost up that we'd play up the Andrew Tate-ishisms, whatever. So if you get on there right away, oh my God. The one boy who's trying to pump up Andrew Tate, he says, if you get on there and do a little research, he says, this pod was too good not to drop. He said, everybody knows Andrew Tate is a whatever. But he doesn't say Andrew Tate might be like a weirdo Nazi, or he might be a plant from Mars, like the Martians are trying to bugger us, trying to jack with us. He doesn't admit to that. He just says that, this pod, he doesn't even say podcast, he says pod was too good not to drop. My boss is like, we got to jump on that. We got to asphyxiate. We got to become part of that. We have to get on that wave and ride that wave. And I said, big boys, whatever, Sometimes you gotta, whatever, have a little integrity, have a little whatever principles. And as soon as you violate that, then you have none of that. As soon as you go across that line one time, you go across the Rubicon, you don't come back. You've always gone, it's like getting tattooed on your forehead, You always gotta have a scar, a minimum, whatever, it's all right. But that boy said it's too hot. And my producer says, you have to jump on that. You have to start finding those nuggets of Andrew Tate's, thing. The one guy they dismissed, they sent him out to get pizza. They said, pearls of wisdom. We can't call it pearls of wisdom. If you put that in print, we're in trouble. My producers, I think they sent that one boy out to go get some pizza because he said you got to call it pearls of wisdom. The next guy, he said you can't call it pearls of wisdom. You got to call it golden nuggets, little nuggets of gold you panned out of the thing. And I thought, wow. All right. So what I did was I slipped back. I slipped off. I got away from those guys in their meeting. And what I did is I wanted to find out what does the word to mean? Because does it mean TWO, which obviously doesn't mean. Does it mean 2-0? What does it mean 2-0-0? And if that Andrew Tate's trying to use the word 2-0-0, or it's being even whatever you'd say, gathered up and given to him, if it's been associated, the word TOO is being associated with Andrew Tate, then maybe we have it in, maybe we have it out. I didn't know. But of course, it's not how it works. You don't say you're too hot to handle, TOO, too hot to drop. It's TO, you're too hot. So I didn't have no out. I was like, I have to try to mine through this guy's rubbish to get some pearls of wisdom? What, are you stupid? So as I was mining, I started thinking about it. I still had my, whatever you call it up, and I said something, and my phone, it almost brought it forth like it was trying to give me a cancer cure. Like when your phone says you got a scratchy throat, and your phone says you got larynx cancer, you better get to the clinic and spend some money on some larynx cancer testing. Or, you're like, oh my God, my ear is itchy. They said, you got a bulbous cancerous growth on your brain. It's oozing out through your ear. You got to go get some testing. You got to get some pharmaceuticals. Your phone's always trying to tell you have some pharmaceuticals. Well, this time my phone said, listen, buddy. My phone literally said to me, if you want to get out of the Andrew Tate thing for another go-round, like episode 2 is you don't even have to say nothing about this guy. What you want to realize is that in casual speech, my phone, mind you, my phone said this to me. And I'm an idiotic, stupid dog, so you know where this is coming from. In casual speech, speakers sometimes use to, T-O-O, in the sense of very. And my phone put very in quotation marks. Very, like very. It's not really very. Very? It's not very. It's quotation mark very. That's okay. So, and then my phone offered up this final thing. And this was almost like Andrew Tate-ish. That's the thing. It all comes full circle sooner or later. Whether it's the libertarians or it's what are the libertarians? I forget. On the other side of the spectrum, the libertarians are the whatevers. For right now, let's just substitute the bestialities. It's the libertarians versus the bestialities. And that's okay. I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I'm not trying to pick a side. I'm not coming down on one side or the other. I'm not. Because I know those liberals can take it. They can take it. Like, you want to call me a bestiality? I don't give a shit. It's all right. Whatever. I'm not a bestiality. Whatever. Oh, you want to call me? That's fine for you. That's how tough those liberals are. They could be hosed. They could be gotten anything. They could be shotgun. It doesn't matter. But my phone said, if you want to use very to get out doing some Andrew Tate stuff, I got an Andrew Tate take for you. And my phone says, in casual speech, speakers sometimes use to, T-O-O, in the sense of very, very in quotation marks. And then my phone offered up this Andrew Tate-esque thing. That gal is too funny. And then my phone said, that gal is too lumpy. That girl's got a little bit too much, whatever you would call it, cottage cheese on her butt. I said, hey, boys, you can't start bringing that kind of crap up in today's thing. Think about Sports Illustrated is getting all the fat girls to come out and model the swimsuits and to try to give everybody boners. Sports Illustrated is saying, hey, everybody, you want to get a boner? You got to look at this fat girl in the surf now. You used to look at Naomi Campbell and whatever. Now you're looking at these girls. And they're not fat. Don't say they're fat. They're voluptuous, they're curvy, they're whatever. But Andrew Tate, the Andrew Tate text or take, the Andrew Tate take would be, if you were to say, you were trying to escape saying anything about Andrew Tate, you would say, we shouldn't even look at Andrew Tate for another, whatever you call it, another take, another part 3. You say, if you don't use to, you try to smother it down with to. You try to get lost in the woods on to. T-W-O. It's like TWA, the one that they flew on intercontinental, whatever. TWO is two things. 2-0 is like you always use to. You're going to be right 95% of the time. 2-0-0, could you use it or could you obfuscate and try to find some reason to get away from the reality of whatever, and then you would make a whole issue of T-O-O, and you can't, but then your phone rescues you. Your phone says, hey, buddy, in casual speech, speakers sometimes use to in the sense of very, in quotation marks. That gal is too funny. Oh, she's too funny. That girl's got too much personality. That girl's got too big of lips. That girl's hair looks like she eats a lot of protein. Her hair's too thick and beautiful and lustrous and lovely. That girl's hair, when you see her from behind, you're like, wow, her butt's a little too wide, but that hair is so thick and lustrous and lovely, And you're like, hey, I should be so lucky. Maybe I could find a girl with that kind of thick, lustrous hair, regardless of the butt girth, And that's a whole pearl of wisdom in of itself. That's a whole pearl of wisdom in of itself. I don't know. Stutter it out. In of itself. In of it. It's a whole pearl of wisdom in of itself. Whatever.